Rachel for President, Noticing Grammar. In this lesson, you are going to learn when to use the past simple and when to use the present perfect. You'll also learn what finished and unfinished time frames are, which will help you to understand the difference between these two verb tenses. But first, do you remember Rachel? She wants to become the president of International Club. In the last video, you listened to a conversation between the members of International Club and Rachel. Now, let's take a closer look at the grammar that they used when they were talking. Specifically, let's look at the use of the past simple and the present perfect. Both of these verb tenses can be used to talk about past experiences. But there is a difference. One of the members asks Rachel,
Have you ever traveled internationally?
which verb tense is this? The past simple or the present perfect? You know it's the present perfect because you see have and a past participle, traveled. Why does she use the present perfect here? Here, this person wants to know if Rachel has ever traveled internationally any time in her life, any time before now. She doesn't care about when. When is not important. And she doesn't mention a specific time in the past. These are all reasons we use the present perfect. And Rachel responds in the same verb tense.
Yes, I have. I've been to several different countries.
When this person says,
I've been to Costa Rica too.
she's using the present perfect again because it doesn't matter when she went to Costa Rica. She just wants Rachel to know that she has also been there sometime in her life. Then she asks,
When did you go there?
what verb tense is this? This is the past simple. You know because you see did. Now, why did she use the past simple here? Here, we are referring to a specific time in the past and a specific occasion. In this case, when is important. If you use when, use the past simple, not the present perfect. Then Rachel responds in the past simple.
I took a trip there when I was in high school.
Again, notice the use of when. Another member asks Rachel,
Have you attended any international club events this year?
why does he use the present perfect here? It's because he wants to know if Rachel has attended any events any time this year. When is not important, and there's no mention of a specific time in the past. This year is an unfinished time. This year has not finished yet, so this is not considered a time in the past. Here she responds,
Yes, I have. I've been to 2 events this year.
again, we use the present perfect here because this year is an unfinished time. It's still going. So far this year, Rachel has been to 2 events. Here, Rachel uses the past simple. Why?
I went to the food festival last month and I attended the arts fair last week.
She's talking about a specific time in the past and a specific occasion. A food festival and an arts fair. These are specific events in the past. In this case, when is important because you see last week, a specific time in the past. Use the past simple when you have a specific time in the past. Let's summarize the differences between these two verb tenses. The past simple is used to talk about events in the past that have a specific time in the past. Could also be a specific occasion. With the past simple, when is important. With the present perfect, when is not important. And there's no mention of a specific past time. There are some important words that will help us to know when to use the past simple and when to use the present perfect. With words like last month, last week, last year, last Saturday, last weekend, or yesterday, yesterday night, yesterday morning, and of course, when, we use the past simple. With words like ever, never, yet, and already, or this week, this year, this month, today, so far, in my life, in his life, in her life, etc., we use the present perfect. You can think of the past simple as a tense we use with finished time frames. The present perfect, on the other hand, is a tense we use with unfinished time frames. That is, periods of time that have not ended yet. For example, when Rachel says she was the president of the business club in high school, she uses the past simple because in high school is a finished time. She graduated 2 years ago, so her high school time is done. However, she says, I have been to 2 international club events this year. This year is not finished yet. It's still going. So this is a period of time that is unfinished, and we can use the present perfect here. Here are some other common unfinished time frames that we use with the present perfect. Sometimes if we use the present perfect and we don't use one of these times, it means in my life. So if I tell you, I have been to Spain 4 times, that means in my life. I could go more. Okay, now you know when to use the past simple and when to use the present perfect. You also know more about finished and unfinished time frames.